No, I see it, I got it, yep, I just saw you, okay, sounds good.
Yeah, cool. Any other questions?
I, for one, am pretty excited about this. It's in my neck of the woods, and I can see it's going to be a really positive development. So.
And I would entertain a motion.
Motion to establish April 2, 2024 at 12 p.m. for a public hearing concerning the request to vacate 6th Street Northwest right-of-way.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Can I have a roll call, please?
No roll call.
It says roll call.
She changed that.
Oh.
No roll call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
See you in a week.
That was
or
written
two.
on yours.
Okay.
Oh, okay, no big deal, I don't care, that's fine.
Moving on. Item D5, financing taxable hospital revenue bond series 2024. Attached is a resolution to complete the final step in the Floyd Valley Hospital project and the closing of the USDARD loan. The city is approving the issuance of the resolution, which includes the approval of the USDA loan, the loan agreement, and any closing documents and certificates. As part of the USDA process, the city approved a Form RD 1942-47 loan resolution in 2022. And that resolution requires the certification that the resolution is still in place. The administration recommends council approval. Any questions? Then I would seek a motion.
Motion adopting resolution 2412 authorizing and approving a loan agreement and providing for the issuance and securing payment of 8.3 million taxable hospital revenue bond series 2024 for the Floyd Valley Hospital project.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed,
Roll call.
you put the no on the wrong one. I just want you to know that. All right?
Keeping on your toes.
That's his teacher voice.
Mayor Pro Tem.
I did notice that. I did notice that. May I have a roll call, please?
Sturgeon,
Yes.
Wick,
Yes.
Hitchon,
Yes.
Pitt,
Yes.
Bruns.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you, everyone. Jan,
Except Jan.
moving on. Item D6, offer to purchase property. The Lamar's Industrial Park 4th Edition has infrastructure being installed with the completion date of September 2024. 7 lots are being created to accommodate industrial projects. The Lamar's Business Initiative Corporation, LBIC, is marketing and selling the current Lamar's Industrial Park lots and would like to market and sell the Lamar's Industrial Park 4th Edition lots. The Lamar's Business Initiative Corporation is asking to purchase this property from the city of Lamar's for $70,000 per acre. The LBIC is proposing to enter into a development agreement with the city of Lamar's and to pay the city for the lots as each are sold. The administration recommends council move ahead with the sale of the land to the LBIC and establish a public hearing to consider the offer. The total sale price for the 28.82 acres will be $2,017,400.
We did the same thing with Southview Industrial Park. Is that it?
Yeah.
The process will be just like we did with Southview, and we also did with, what's the name of the one back by the ball fields?
Oh,
Well,
north of Parkview Terrace.
Parkview. So
Got it raised.
it was the same process. We'll do an economic development agreement. In that agreement, there'll be requirements for both sides. We'll secure it with a note and a mortgage. we'll deed it to the LVIC, and the LVIC sells lots, they pay us off. If they don't, we have a mechanism by which we can reobtain title to the property. Same exact process, right?
Correct.
Anything else to add to that, Mark?
No, you might be wondering where we came up with 70,000 an acre.
I actually was gonna ask that.
So, the infrastructure estimate, or the bid, was 1.1 million, just shy of 1.2. So that's what it's gonna cost. So if you divide that out by the 30 acres, that's less than 70,000 an acre. But we put in 27th Street a number of years ago, and 27th Street has to service both sides. So there's infrastructure costs there in 27th Street that wasn't accounted for. So it needs to be part of this project. And then new construction for industrial park, it costs a community somewhere between $70,000 and $100,000 an acre, depending on the topography and whatnot, to put in infrastructure these days. And in comparing industrial park pricing throughout northwest Iowa, 70,000 is at the lower end. So competitively speaking, we're competitive in the market, but at the same time, we do want to recoup our costs so we can reinvest that into additional land in the future. So,
And we already have water and sewer out in front, I mean.
correct.
So, I mean,
But there was a
long-
cost to that at one time.
Right.
Yeah,
Also the land acquisition cost.
plus the land acquisition costs.
Right.
So if you look at our south view, that's $3 a square foot, and we're just barely recouping our costs out of that. That's about over 130,000 an acre for Southview. So comparatively speaking, this industrial park is competitive when at this price, and yet we're recouping our costs.
Yeah, and for me, just to be clear, I want to recoup costs, but it's also development that
Correct.
pays starts, so I mean, you can't we're not in the money-making business.
That's exactly right. But at the same time, I don't want to so underpriced in the market, because people will come here anyway. We got to charge a fair price. And so I believe that that is an extremely fair price for industrial park ground.
And that could still be negotiable.
No. When it comes to industrial park ground, my 20 years of experience is we've never adjusted the upfront price.
Okay.
You get, your incentive is through the abatement
Okay.
that we offer. And the greater the investment into the property, the greater the value of the abatement.
Okay.
So so that would be based upon what the business brings to the table. And typically, in an industrial park, if they create jobs, then we apply to the state for financial assistance. And that's how they mitigate price, either through rebate of taxes or a straight up grant for hiring people with good jobs.
I didn't know how, because I mean, if I'm buying 10 acres versus 2 acres,
Yep.
my
My history has been,
Well, that's good enough.
upfront, you pay for the ground. The value of the project determines your incentive.
Right. Okay.
Any other questions? Then I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to adopt the motion, resolution, whatever number it is,
2413.
2413, establishing April 2, 2024 at 12 p.m. as a public hearing on any and all written offers received by March 26, 2024 for the city-owned land of Lamar's Industrial Park, 4th Edition.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Wick,
Yes.
Sturgeon,
Yes.
Goodchild,
Yes.
Bruns,
Yes.
Hicks.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. Moving on to discussion items. Jason, what do you have for us today?
Jan, did you see his look look on his face as he said that?
I'm afraid you might have to stay after school today.
I'll just give you an update here. Brad Epling gave me an update on Monday as far as the ash trees go. He had a total of 370 total overall in our parks areas. As of Monday, there were only 50 of those left. And Those 50, as of now, are gonna remain until possibly next year. It's gonna give them time to get all the trees that they did take down stumped and filled and new trees planted, and they'll worry about those other ones next year. So,
The question I was asked was, there is a plan for trees being replanted.
yeah.
Are they, do you know if they're going to be exactly one for one? Because I know I had a few people comment on the boulevard, instead of having like that many, they would have maybe one row instead of two.
There's gonna be, I didn't bring that with me, Mark, but if I remember right, I think the boulevard, it's gonna be a single row.
That's what they were.
And I thought he had somewhere around the 40 trees. I think we're gonna go back in there, but that could change. I don't know what the spacing and all that stuff's gonna be, but yeah.
Just
that's
keeping them off the streets is what we're
Yeah.
basically doing.
Yeah, yeah. So that number right there, the 370, is just, so everybody is aware, is just simply in our parks. Okay, that doesn't account for those that are in the right of way. We haven't even started dealing with those yet, so. Anyway, that's the update on those
By
trees.
parks, is that the golf course as well?
I don't know, yeah, I don't think it's the golf course itself. There's, I can give you the rundown here of where the 50 are at. 6 of them are in the campground. 32 are in West Floyd Park, basically the Frisbee golf area. 5 are back behind the police shooting range, so if you know where that is, north of Parkview Terrace, back by the grass and tree dump. There's 5 out there. And then 7, the remaining 7 are scattered throughout town, so. And then the only other 2 things, the 2 active projects, Industrial Park 4th, we just talked about. They're moving mountains out there. A lot of dirt is getting moved. Southview Industrial Park, they're back on site doing the underground. And then Plywood, Gaverson Smith is back on site and continue to work on the retaining wall. So that's what I've got.
Okay, thank you.
How
Joe?
many retaining walls are there? I mean, they're working on the
Just
big
one,
one.
one large one.
There's no minor ones
No.
in there? Okay.
No.
Just curious.
Yeah, I'm not 100% because I drove it this morning, Clark. There are some areas where there appears to be,
A sheer.
yeah.
I've seen that too, and I didn't
know how
know.
those are gonna be left. They might just get left like that. But they're not getting retaining walls.
Okay. Okay.
Joe?
I guess the only thing I really have is question to the council of, are there any last minute changes we want to make to the budget before I get it all ready to be presented in the month of April?
Yeah, I was kind of curious about that. Where did we end up on that? Because it seems as though there was some clarification as to the library's 50,000 cut. And after I sought out some more information on it. So where'd we end up on that?
Nothing formal.
It's up to you guys. If you want to change.
But that,
the 50.
that changes,
Just,
so if I understand it right, she's basically at a 0 increase with the 50. I mean, it is basic, it's less than 1%
It's like a 3%.
or something. It's very small.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wasn't aware of that before. I was looking at a complete increase. But if this council awarded her another person, that person is part of that cost, then we owe it to them to fund it. That's my view on it.
Right.
So my view would be to put the 50 back.
I agree.
I would support that.
I mean, that's where I'd be.
Yeah, and just for clarification, for if anyone didn't figure that out, it's like, I don't think we had the fact that that part-time person was made a full-time factored in. And so
It was
when you factor
labor.
that in, and then you have the additional built-in increases of the negotiations and raises and
Right,
things like that.
that's that, because I didn't
Puts us
know
back
that.
where we were at.
So I would say, yes, we would be in favor of putting it back.
Okay. Nope, I think there's any correction I needed then.
Which then brings up the question.
2 more days. Or, right? For 3 more days, 2.5 more days.
What do you mean?
I apologize.
No, that's, we just, I mean, so how are we gonna cover that?
It would reduce our reserve,
Okay, that.
which
that
would
was-
take us
is what
by
I
our
would
last
expect.
audit, what were we at? 120, I can't even remember. 120?
So we were at, I'm trying to remember what you handed out, Joe. It was, if we added the 2 people,
With both
Is
cuts,
165,000?
got it right back to
That
where we
sounds
were
right.
a year.
Right, but still well within a
Right.
comfort level
Right.
to compare.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah. So we're running at about $165,000 deficit then.
I just wanted to make sure that we understood where
Shortfall.
that was coming, you know, how
Just
we're
from
gonna
year to
cover
year,
that.
I don't
right.
want those reserve days getting too terribly, you know.
No, I understand.
I've seen them as low as 80. and-
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everybody understands that that's, putting that $50,000, where, how are we covering? it,
Right, right.
Is all, so. Not that I'm opposed to putting it back in, I'm just, for clarification, so everybody kind of understands.
Is there anything else on the budget, Joe, that,
I think everything else I've got finalized. I just want to make sure if there's anything else that council wanted to see or do that way we can kind of close the book on it. And
Thank you for circling back from last.
yeah, because I was,
Yep.
I actually whispered to him, I said, what was the budget issue, you know, because, so, good enough, we're good, we're good.
Perfect.
otherwise, I don't have anything else.
Perfect. Mark, anything?
No, thank you.
Clark?
Yes, I gotta go back to the thumbs up. I totally apologize. There's, once in a while, someone passes away in the community, and I'll do a hats off. And Larry Peterson was very, very instrumental in this community. School board, very, hospital, a longtime hospital, very active, always grabbed you at a chamber coffee and commented, and very noticeable, so hats off to Larry Peterson.
Thank you. Brian?
Pass.
That?
Nothing.
Mark has another one.
I got one more. 2 weeks ago, I just don't want this to drop. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about tax abatement. And we talked about, do we continue on our 7-year? Do we go back to 5-year? Do we go up to 10-year? Do we drop the special stipulation we've made on multiple properties on the additional 3-year? Is this something that maybe we probably should put on an agenda and openly talk about and set a policy before the next person comes in and says, can I have 3 more years? It's been suggested to drop, it's, you know, stay, go up to the 10. But I think it needs something that I don't want to see it dropped.
Good point.
I'm just bringing that up for future agendas.
Because I have had comment from community people as well.
Mike, what's the requirement? It's not an ordinance, right? I
We
mean,
have
it's
an
a-
ordinance that is established 7 years,
And then this additional 3 that we've,
is what the council does by their own motion to add to the 7.
right.
I think Jason's suggestion at the last meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that we have an ordinance, let's stick to it. No more extra 3 years, don't go to 5, let's stay with the 7, and let's do business.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Okay.
So in other words, let it die and stick with it. Because here's where I have a problem with that, and that is simply this. I always figured circumstances set precedent. So the next guy walks in a year and a half, 16 months, whatever, and says, hey, you did it for these guys. What do we do to protect ourselves from saying, you know, or have we?
That's what we're doing right now.
Irreparable, okay.
Right,
Yeah,
and
so
it's,
that's-
and it's a policy decision, that's an agreement, not
You guys
necessarily.
are coming out and saying, we're gonna stick to, if this is what you want, we're gonna stick to the 7 years.
Okay,
It does not prevent someone from asking you in the
Yeah.
future.
okay.
And a future council from
Yeah.
saying those guys didn't know what they were talking about.
Right.
Yeah, we can
Okay,
agree.
that's fine, I didn't want this to die.
Yeah, because you would have to agree as a council that we're not doing it anymore. We're not doing 3 additional years.
Right.
But on an individual basis. We
Well,
can't
but-
set a policy that
No,
says.
no, you
what
can't.
ways.
No, you can't. No, that's why he said, I mean, that's not going to stop somebody from
Asking.
calling and making a request and me saying no, but, you know, well, I want to hear from the council.
Okay.
So it's not going to stop it from ending up on
Sure.
an agenda,
Okay.
but
the
if you don't
council's
want to do
indicating
them,
that you're not interested in it, Jason can
I can express to them, hey, we can go to council, but they're gonna say no.
Okay, that's,
Thank you.
okay, but.
And then we can come to a council meeting and you can make me a liar and approve it.
It's almost a reason to do it.
All right, sounds
Is
sounds
7
good.
years normal for the area?
What's that?
7 years normal for this area?
Typically, yeah. There are a couple that are probably 10, but not very many.
7 to 10 is common. I would say 10 is more common than 7, but I think 7,
Oh.
we've been
I'm a
successful.
liar already.
We've been successful with 7.
I was gonna say,
I've
7
been-
has worked.
I've been getting interest from developers. The particular developer that was here today that was interested in doing this project, did a project in Sheldon where they got 10, did a project in Orange City where they got 10, and we offered them 7 and they did a project. So I'm comfortable with that. If you go less than that, I'd be concerned.
So it's not tying your hands at 7.
Not at all. Especially with the program that we have here, you know, out by the airport with that forgivable loan program. That's essentially made up for it, but with Erdmanville and the number of people we got coming to town, there's enough volume in people wanting to live in Lamar's to where 7, they can get a return on their investment. So,
As long as you're up there, Mark, the discussion kind of went on that development quite a few directions, and I did totally omit one thing. Please convey that I'm overly concerned about trash.
Okay.
And the containment of trash. That's the biggest complaint I get about our apartments, wherever they are out throughout the city. People about trash. So I saw what he's got,
yeah.
you know,
I've got 10 years of experience with this group and their management company, and that they take very good care of their properties.
Okay.
You'd be proud to live across the street.
All right, good enough.
Going back to the abatement, Mark, you mentioned Orange City is currently at 10?
Yeah.
Sioux Center?
Believe Sioux Center's in the 7-year. I can't, no, don't quote me, that's what I believe, but they don't share as freely as others, so. But they didn't have an abatement probably 4 years ago, and they had to because everybody around them was starting to develop, and they didn't.
All right.
So,
Okay.
Anything else? You sure? You're all done?
Tell him not.
I might have enough, none. We're good.
Then I'm gonna move, it's recommended that the council enter closed session to discuss